How are you?
Okay, good morning, Prof. Hello, I hope everyone can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you 5 on 5.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome once more to another session of our presentation. It's been some weeks we've not had a presentation for some reasons, but it's good to be back. It's good to have you all back. Thank you, Prof, for your presence.
in Cameroon. You need to talk about the transport sector in Cameroon. You need to talk about the background of the transport sector.
Okay.
What kind of transport is common there? We have it's urban, rural urban transport sector. We have the air transport sector. We equally have the train transport sector. We equally have ferries for those who travel probably now and the eastern part of that country. You have to look at all that aspect in your background. That should be something you should go core insight.
Okay, sir. I will do
Aspect
that.
number one. So you're looking at your background. Look at the background of the transport sector in Cameroon. Geographically, you
Okay.
talk about the country, the number of regions that exist, and you talk about the transport sector per region, how it operates.
Okay.
You explain those details. Then, from the background of the transport sector, that is where you can be able to identify the problem. Because we can't just jump into talking about quality customer service when we don't even know how the sector operates.
Okay.
You understand? So
Yes,
we
sir.
need to know how the sector operates to be able to talk about the quality in that sector. That is one aspect I like you to look at.
Okay, sir.
You look at that aspect. Secondly, when you look at that aspect of the background, when you go to your problem statement, hmm,
Yes,
when you
sir.
go to your problem statement, I want you to take time again and redo your work. You should follow the. Do you have the KIU research writing guide?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Use that guide. The instructions well stated. Font size is 12. Line spacing is 1.5. Use Times New Roman. All those
Okay.
details must be respected. If you look at
Okay.
your work, you don't justify the pages. They are not justified. They're just not well organized. This is master's level. It has to all the, it has to be well organized. And I'm going to personally follow up and assist you that everything is done perfectly well.
Okay, sir.
Now, when you look at your background, the background which I've explained, we go now into the problem statement. What are the challenges facing Cameroon transport sector? One of the challenges you should look at communication.
Okay.
Are the people they recruit at customer service level, do they have the skill to be there or not? If you look at most businesses in the transport sector when they start, usually they hire people close to them. If you
Okay.
realize they hire people close to them with zero skills on communication, fortunately you're using a case study that I'm well familiar with. If we should talk of maybe without publicity using either Amazam, Guarantee Express, Sawboys, or
Yes, sir.
Touristic, or Buka Voyage, or Naral Voyage, any of those, you see that most of the people they hire at the customer service are just within the family.
Yes, sir. It's true.
There is no skill, there is no pre-training.
No
So that
experience.
is one barrier. The lack of skilled personnel. Two, they hire people based on either ethnicity or probably nepotism or whatever relationship that they have with these persons. That's another aspect. Then you look at another aspect of skill in the business. Those in the transport sector, how skilled are they to know that I need to have a customer desk? Have you ever called a Amazon and you hear the way they even insult you?
I'm telling you.
No. So you look at what is the problem. Those are the things when you are when you are doing research on a problem, identify the problem that will help a layman because you should look at those problems that you
Okay.
see in the transport sector before
Okay,
you
sir.
can talk of quality of service. Before we go to talk of quality of service, we need to know the problems. If we don't know the problems, what are we? what kind of solutions are we going to propose? So in your problem statement, you vividly look at the quality of service, you look at communication aspects, you look at the skilled personnel they recruit, you look at aspects of quality service, you look at aspects of, let me see, give me 1 second and look at your work here. You're talking here. Achieving quality customer service on public and private road transport sectors in Cameroon. Now, that is at the level of the transport agencies. Now,
Yes.
you go to the level of those who manage road transport. For example, in Cameroon, we have toll gates, we have security officers. Do they have quality communication skills in, in, in tackling the problems that they have? Hmm?
No.
Those are aspects you should put an eye on.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So you should list those points. Once you've listed those points, you now go to the methodology you will use. Because after you've identified the problem, you look at the key objectives that you want to, the key objectives. What is the specific objective of this research? What is your specific objective? You look at it. And if you see the way your introduction is just one is it's so brief that you need to write the whole introduction. It should be at least 3 4 paragraphs.
Okay,
Hmm?
sir. Okay, sir.
Yes. If you look at the objective you've given, if you look at your objective, uh, are you on your work? Hmm?
No, sir.
Yeah, you didn't number your pages even. So it's difficult for someone to even tell you go to page. You see chapter 2 literature review on the same page with chapter 1, which is not supposed to be the case. You look at the way you've written your problem statement is in cap, chapter 2 rather is in small letters. It doesn't make sense. Problem
Okay.
statement next to is reasons. I don't know why what you put reasons there. Customer service duties. We've listed the duties, which another thing is you should note that we do a plagiarism check at every stage of the work. If you've been looking at assignments, how things are being corrected. So whatever you copy from the internet, you have to rewrite in your own words.
Okay, sir.
You don't do copy paste because the whole paragraph will be scrapped out. Hmm?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes. Your problem statement. When customer service relationship agents are rude to clients in the public sector. Yeah, that is not how you start a problem. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
That is not how you start a problem statement. You need to elaborate with an explanation so that uh, people can vividly, a reader can vividly identify the the problem. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
And if you look at in in the table of content, you wrote about objectives. But if you come to your work, there is no objective. If you look at your specific objective is just it's tied up, it's linked to the next point under your problem statement. Problem statements, I would prefer you put them in paragraphs rather than numbering them.
Okay,
Hmm?
sir. Okay, sir.
Then, if you look at the objectives, your specific objectives, you just put the defined objective of customer service to answer to answer questions quickly and effectively, resolve with empathy and care. Now, have you ever called MTN service provider or Orange? You listen to the way they speak to the clients, how polite they are. Hmm?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
then comparatively to when you call a transport agent, the way they communicate. Hmm? It's
Yes.
different. It's different. so clear. So you should be able to do a comparative analysis with other examples that exist in the field. Hmm? With other examples that field.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
I am there. We talk comparatively with other examples that
Yes, sir.
exist in the field. Then, if you look at the objectives, you need to put specific objectives and general objectives. You don't have any general, just put specific objectives. Then you move to point one, point five research question, which is not so the case. Hmm? If you
Yes.
follow, if you follow the outline of KIU research,
All right,
it's
sir.
Marie there. I can't see you.
I'm getting you, sir. I'm
Are you
here.
there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah. So you look up. You have to select the whole work, justify your work. When you see the way the work is, you can say something, so you just copy it somewhere and paste it. You didn't take time to go through. You look at the the limitation, the significance of the study. You put the findings of
Oh,
the study will likely affect service providers. This, all that literature is okay, but it someone should see how significant it is to understand quality in customer service. Hmm? Let
okay,
the
sir.
reader be able to see it from the first.
I think we have network issue from Prof. I don't know if there's any student that has any question or okay, Prof, you're back. Hello? Hello, Prof. Go ahead, please. Hello? Prof Atanga, your mic is off. We can't hear you.
You cannot hear me.
Okay. Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead, please.
So, Mari, when you look at chapter 2, I don't know where this number, your page numbering appears even before on the page number. Your numbering is in between paragraphs. If you look at the word, it's like this work shows that you converted a PDF document somewhere before you gave this word. Yeah,
I was I
you
was told to do
converted a
correct.
PDF file somewhere to have this.
When I
Yes,
was
where
doing
is
the
the
correction,
original
say
Word
so.
document that you worked on, the original one?
That was the original was on PDF, so they
This
said I should do
work.
correct send word on word form and
How
word
can your
format.
work, how can the
So that's
original be PDF? How can the original be PDF? The original can never be PDF. It is Word that you convert to PDF, right?
yes, sir.
So where is that original? That is PDF, in PDF. In Word. That's the original. It's supposed to be in Word. And you're supposed to use the KIU cover page given to you.
Okay, sir.
Even the website of the university, you didn't write it well. You just went and converted. So the work is not organized. The declaration, you're like, you have so much to do, so much to do, so much to do. So I want you and I, we're going to start this work all over from chapter 1. You finish chapter 1,
Okay, sir.
it's approved, you go to chapter 2. When chapter 2 is approved, you move to chapter 3. Just like
Okay,
that.
sir.
So that you master how to do it and then you start guiding other people also. So now going to your literature is very skeletal. Hmm? The
Yes,
literature
sir.
is skeletal. There are a lot of aspects that you abandon in your literature. In your literature review, that is where you have to talk of the background of the transport sector in Cameroon. In your literature
Okay.
review, that is where you have to, one, you look at the background of the transport sector in Cameroon, you look at the various types of transports used in that country, then you look at the history of any research works related to transport in Cameroon. You bring in those citations, the references, put in there. For example, if let's say John and they had worked on customer service at the Douala International Airport, it's a reference for you to copy and use in your work. Mhm. Because whatever work you do, at the end, you will also be serving as a reference to others who are looking forward to do a research in your domain or either in
Okay,
Cameroon
sir.
or in another country. You see, the work is scattered. Someone cannot identify where to start. So that is how your research will be. Then when you go to your chapter three, looking at the methodology that we are going to apply, and in your lecture review, don't forget to talk about customer service. What customer service is all about. What are the
Okay, sir.
types? What makes quality in the customer service sector? What are the challenges experienced in that sector?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Hmm? What are the advantages? How are the trainings done? We talk about recording calls in order to use for quality training purposes, all those things. And include it.
Okay, sir.
When you go to the chapter three, which is your research findings, you
Yes, sir.
look at the transport sector in Cameroon. You sampled how many agencies to examine their customer service. You say, okay, you sampled let's say 10 road transport agencies. You sampled one rail transport. You could use Douala Yaoundé train rail, or you could use Yaoundé Ngaoundé train road.
Yes.
You sampled air transport service in Cameroon. Kameko does Gawa, it goes to Ngaoundé, it goes to Douala Yaoundé. It used to come to Bamenda, but because of the crisis, it stopped coming. So you put all those examples. Someone reading the work should feel themselves in Cameroon to know which direction they will use in case they want to travel within that country. Those are the aspects that you should include in your lecture. You see, research in general is something global that uh, you don't need to be core scientific in that domain to understand it. You don't need to be core scientific in that domain to understand it. You get it? You look at that aspect. Once you've been able to bring the various transport domains used in Cameroon, you look at the challenges in each sector, the opportunities and the strengths of each sector. You get it? You look at it, then now you come now into customer service in each of those sectors. This is master's level.
Okay, sir.
You come there. So from there, what kind of analysis are we going to do here? In business research analysis, we are really primarily focused on case studies. Mm?
Yes, sir.
And do analysis based on case studies. The case of road transport system between Douala and Yaoundé. Case of road transport system between Bamenda and Yaoundé, or Bamenda Douala. Case of train transport between Douala and Yaoundé. Case of railway transport between Yaoundé and Yaoundé. Case of air transport Douala Yaoundé. What are the challenges? What are the you bring details in it to the level that you even explain the cost at the time of your research. So that someone wants to go to Bamenda, they know that okay, this is what I need. You get it, this is the procedure, and this is the identification document level that I need to travel with. So when you put that in your methodology, you can now analyze the various results that you've seen. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
So if you look at your work, I'm going to send it back to you soon. You can't even see anything. Pages are mixed. Chapter 1 is mixed to chapter 3, chapter 2. The previous cut half is on another page, all those things. It makes it difficult for every the work to be corrected. So we are going to do page by page. I have a lot of colleagues that are being able to access. Dr. Limbo is there, Dr. Aka is there, so many of them. So thank you very much, Madam Joy. That was what I could put together for her. This is my Marie. I'm going to put the link for you so that you can talk to me for further assistance. Thank you. Madam Joy, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Thank you so much. Welcome, Dr. Aka. I can see you. Dr. Luis, you're welcome. Okay. Is there any student that has something to ask about her work or to add to her work? You just indicate with a hand show and I'll give you the floor. Okay. If there is none, Claire, I
Yes,
hope you've taken down the necessary corrections which have been given.
yes, yes,
You are expected to be online till the end of the presentation. If you're
okay,
not online, your work won't be considered. So you have to be online till the end.
okay, ma'am.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation. You can now turn off your camera and your mic while we listen to the other presenter.
Okay,
Okay, now I'll call on uh, the PhD students. Martin, Yakum Martin. Yakum Martin, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Let me just
Okay.
let me share my work
All
so
right. The
that,
floor is yours.
good.
Kindly turn on your camera.
Oh, sorry. Let me do that. Hmm. Need to go here first, then.
Okay, that's good. You can share with us now.
Okay, it's done.
All right.
So can I go ahead?
Yes, the floor is yours, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Good morning. My name is Martin Yakum. I am PhD student at for I'll be making this presentation on the burden of vaccine hesitancy for routine immunization in Yaoundé, Cameroon. It is a cross-sectional study. So I just want to say this is part of my work for the PhD. So it's just an extra paper from the work that is done. Yeah, which I shared the thesis already with the academics. For this presentation, I would like to use these 6 points. The first level, I would just want to show the authors because this is a paper that is already published. So it's always good practice to show the authors. And then I move ahead, introduction, study objectives, material methods, findings, conclusions, and recommendation. So just to say that this paper was already published in the PLOS Global Public Health. It was done last September. Yeah, last September 2022. So these are the authors. So we have a few people from Kesmonds International University. We had contributors from the University of Chang and also someone from the Doctors Without Borders medical department. So we did all of this together to make sure that contributions will improve the quality. So as an introduction to this paper, we will want to just start by saying that immunization is one of the essential components for primary health care declared at the Amal Atta conference organized by the World Health Organization in 1978. So at the Amal Atta conference, it was decided on 8 essential components of primary health care and immunization against infectious diseases was one of the main pillars out of the 8. In Cameroon, immunization activities is integrated into the primary, minimum package of activities, MPA. So minimum package of activity, which is just the minimum package of healthcare services that are provided generally at the level of the health centers. So these are some essential healthcare services that are provided at the level of health, that must be provided at the level of health center. We also have a complementary package of activities that won't go from the level of health district when the health center cannot handle. In Cameroon, the objective of the expanded program of immunization is to have a national coverage of 90% for each antigen. So if for each antigen, because there are many antigens, if we have 90% and 80% at every district, so some district can be higher, but at least 80 at every district and 90 at the level of the country. Well, to today, it is said that immunization is the most cost-effective health intervention that is known in the world. And according to World Organization, it is estimated that between 2 to 3 million deaths are prevented every year with immunization against diphtheria, measles, tetanus, and mumps. So only just immunization between this with diphtheria, measles, tetanus, and mumps, we are able to prevent 2 to 3 million deaths every year. So if you now consider other immunization that like immunization against meningitis, cholera, and everything, you see how impactful the immunization program is to the health, both the quality and and death in the population. Well, even though we know that immunization is the most cost-effective preventive intervention known, and also knowing the effort that is put in immunization, still we are not getting the satisfactory level of immunization coverage or vaccination coverage in the community. So when you look at the global situation from the World Organization report in 2018, it is reported that 2021 rather, sorry, they notice that the immunization coverage generally dropped by 3%. So from 2019 to 2021. So 2019 was 86% and 2021 was 83%. When you want to look at the immunization coverage in Cameroon, the most recent national survey that was conducted in 2000 and in fact published in 2018, the demographic and health survey, it shows that only 52% of children between 12 to 23 months were fully vaccinated with all the required vaccines. And these are children who are supposed already to be out of the immunization program, the routine immunization program specifically. I did not mention, but it's good I mentioned here already, that out of these, 10% of children did not receive any vaccine dose at all. So even one vaccine dose, nothing. And there's this persistent inequality between vaccine uptake between the rich and the poor. It is reported in many scientific papers already. So up to now, we try to understand why can't we have the required vaccination coverage up to now. According to the World Organization, we have there are many reasons that can explain why we don't have the appropriate vaccination coverage up to now, but amongst the reasons, the World Organization is able to group them into 2 major groups. One group is called vaccine hesitancy. The main cause, one of the causes, is vaccine hesitancy. Another group is related to access, availability, and access. So, and since this is focused on vaccine hesitancy, I want to define what vaccine hesitancy is. Vaccine hesitancy, we define it as either a refusal or delay in receiving vaccines despite its availability. So vaccination services must be available. And if you don't take, maybe because you delay or you refuse, then that there's hesitancy. When looking at the statistic in the world, there was a joint report by World Health Organization and UNICEF published in 2014 that made it clear that vaccine hesitancy is present in all the 6 World Health Organization regions. So there's no region that is not affected by this problem. In Cameroon, when we wanted to check about the situation of vaccine hesitancy. A few report was available on human papilloma virus vaccine and COVID-19 vaccine that was recently. So the scientifically we reported these are the 2 that are reported in Cameroon. So we were asking ourselves, why not also look at the routine immunization, which is what we have been with it for long. We are doing a great job with it, and we are trying to reduce the burden of vaccine preventable diseases like measles, yellow fever, poliomyelitis, and so on. So there was no information existing on this. So that is one of the major reasons why we decided to do this assessment, to at least have an idea of the level of vaccine hesitancy in Cameroon. So as already said, our objective was to estimate the burden of vaccine hesitancy for routine immunization in Cameroon, particularly in Yaoundé, the 6 health districts in Yaoundé. And partly as part of our objective, we also wanted to describe reason for hesitancy. So for those who experience vaccine hesitancy, we wanted to know why. This could help in programmatic intervention to improve or to reduce vaccine hesitancy and improve immunization coverage in Cameroon. Our methodology, we summarize this actually. It was a community-based cross-sectional study done in Yaoundé. Data collection was done in November 2021. And we targeted guidance of children aged between 0 to 59 months. Yeah, I targeted their guidance because they were the one that they could report about hesitancy or refusal. And about our sampling method, we use a 2-step systematic sampling method in which 30 clusters were selected with probability proportionate to size. And these clusters represented the quarters in Yaoundé. So in practical sense, each district in Yaoundé, we contacted the health district's service. We obtained all the list of all the health areas, all the quarters with their respective population. Then we use it to select some quarters, because we made our clusters were made up of quarters. So we selected 30 clusters with probability proportionate to size. And in the clusters, we selected some household using restricted sampling method. This restricted sampling method is something that we are insisting, honestly. It is not yet used, maybe is used, but maybe I should say we have not seen it reported in the literature using a restricted sampling method for data collection. So we use. The fact is that systematic sampling method for household selection could be a good option. But however, in a systematic sampling process, you have an interval that you skip a number of households to take the next one. But we modify this method. It's just like the systematic, but we modify this method. In between a given sampling interval, we randomly select one. This gives more randomness in the selection than just systematically selecting some household are moving ahead. This makes it more random in the selection, and the population can be more representative of the town than using systematic sampling. And if for any reason there is an inherent a factor linked with the population placement, the household placement, with the vaccine hesitancy, this method can be able to neutralize it, not for it not to affect the result and bias it. Data collection was done with questionnaire. These questionnaires were actually not developed by us. We just adapted from the World Organization Technical Working Group on Vaccine Hesitancy. They have these questions this questionnaire called closed questions and Likert scale questionnaire. So we actually use it, we adapt it for our data collection. Data analysis. In data analysis, we were purely descriptive. As our objective stated, we were purely descriptive. We however, try to estimate the worth index in the population and use it to see if it influenced to check if it influenced vaccine hesitancy. Else, we just calculated the prevalence of vaccine hesitancy with the 95% confidence interval. As our result, all the 30 clusters selected were rich. Out of the participants eligible in the rich clusters, 708 participants eligible in the rich clusters, 529 of them were rich. I mean, yeah, so 529 of them were actually participated, were interviewed. This table, excuse me, that is already, the writings are not very, they are not big enough for us to see, but at least I should say that what I want us to note here is that the participants, the richer participants think that all parents vaccinate their children with the recommended vaccines. Meanwhile, the poorer participants were less likely to think so. So the richer household believe that everybody is doing this, is taking their vaccines, but the poorer, to an extent, or they also believe, but to a lesser extent compared to the rich. That particular one was statistically significant. Any other one was not. That's why I don't want to go deep into the detail. About the vaccine hesitancy, globally, 25.9% of the mothers reported vaccine hesitancy. And the 95% confidence interval was ranging between 22.35 to 29.80%. This means that for routine immunization in Cameroon, in a general sense, we can confidently say that, or in Yaoundé, to be more precise, we can confidently say that around 26% of the population are neither receiving the vaccines, are either refusing the vaccine or delaying the vaccine uptake. Just for, in bracket, just to say something, that in Cameroon, we expect a child to receive all the vaccines by the age of 12 months, which means at the age of 1 year, the first birthday. We try to see if this the prevalence of vaccine hesitancy was linked or associated with the different worth index, household worth index. This was not so. With the p-value that was 0.37 something, so hesitancy was similarly available, present in the poor and the rich in a similar way. We understand that significance depends also on the power, or test power. So this is limited to the sample size we calculated. When we check through the beliefs of the parent, we notice that 85% of the parents believe that vaccine can protect their children from serious illnesses. So you ask yourself why 85% believe that vaccine can protect them, but hesitancy is up to 27. We were expecting now that, all right, the 15% that they don't believe should be the one hesitant, but we still have, so we have questions to answer here. We don't know. This study will not be able to answer that question anyway. This when we check through the different vaccine doses, these particular vaccines, I mean, because we wanted to see if this hesitancy is the same throughout all the vaccines in the EPI, the answer was no. Some vaccines were affected more than others. The most affected vaccine was the oral polio vaccine, with a hesitancy that is in the environment of 11% alone. Other vaccines had hesitancy ranging from 1 to 3%. This tells us that polio needs maybe a particular approach in the fight against hesitancy. We shouldn't make every vaccine, we should not approach all the vaccines in the same way. We may have to design interventions specific for each vaccine. This our result is similar, this our result is similar to what was reported already in Pakistan by Murakami early in 2014. They also reported hesitancy in polio, very high. So very high. Unfortunately, they reported only about polio. They did not compare with other vaccines in the EPI. So it cannot be, we cannot have the same conclusion like them anyway. When it comes to the reasons for hesitancy, we try to check through. Truly, in the introduction, I did not introduce some of the models of vaccine hesitancy because it's a complex issue with some models developed behind it. But here in the courses, I want to link them up to make it clearer. So you see that one of the major, I mean, the first reason why people are hesitant to vaccine is because they heard about negative things about the vaccine in the media. This media was not clearly stated whether they are talking about social media or what particularly. It was not, we did not try to get this. So, but we understand that misinformation is at the origin of the biggest part of vaccine hesitancy. And this is a link to what we call the lack of trust and confidence. So they don't have trust and confidence in vaccine due to this information they get. This is second by people believing that their children, they don't need vaccine at all. So this one, we link it a bit with the hesitancy concept of complacency. But in this study, let me call it perceived consistency, in the sense that complacency is talking about you don't feel you need vaccines because you don't think you are at risk of the disease. But I say perceive because in Cameroon, actually, we are at risk of measles, for example. We are at risk of all of these diseases that have been targeted by the expanded program on immunization. That is why I'm calling it perceived consistency. To a lesser extent, some of these people did not go for their vaccine, it had hesitancy because they had some things they were doing and they could not. For example, if you look at here, you see not possible to leave other work. So they were not able to leave other work to go for the work, for the vaccination. So they give priority to other things they were doing than vaccinating the children. This is more in the convenience model. It's more in the convenience model. We did not go further to investigate about rational calculation and collective decision making in the population. It was a bit difficult with our study to be able to investigate this because it needs some qualitative approach in data collection, which we are not really qualified. We don't have that skills, honestly. These findings are not different from findings from Peterson et al. In 2016 and another study from Schuster's in 2019, Shapiro in 2018. All of these factors come up consistently when you want to check for reasons for no vaccination or reasons for hesitancy. So these studies correlate with these studies that I've mentioned. If based on our results, this is the conclusions we are making. The prevalence of vaccine hesitancy for routine immunization in Yaoundé is 25.9%. This is similar across household wealth level. So the poor and the rich, they have a similar hesitancy level. Another major conclusions that we want to make is that the polio, that hesitancy affect different EPI vaccines differently, and the oral polio vaccine is the most affected. That is another take home from our study. Um, the third take home from our conclusion from our study is that lack of trust and confidence caused by misinformation. We mention misinformation because people mention they heard about this information from the media, is the leading cause of vaccine hesitancy in Yaoundé. In a way of proposing what to do, we suggest that intervention to reduce vaccine hesitancy need to be vaccine specific. We need to focus, for example, for routine immunization, we need to focus more on oral polio vaccine. However, we also suggest that we recommend a study should be done in the population trying to identify the various sources of information. Today that we have noticed that misinformation is the major cause of vaccine hesitancy, it's good to first know what are the various sources of information on vaccine. Two, which sources are associated with misinformation. Knowing this can be very useful in designing an intervention to reduce this. Thank you very much for listening. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you a lot.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Madam Joy is around, so let me hand her the mic.
Sorry, my network was not okay, so it went off.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Dr. Aka, hello.
Yes, Madam Joy, I'm getting you.
Okay, you're welcome once more.
Thank you
I'm
very
sure
much.
you were able to listen to his presentation. So I would like you to kindly evaluate his work and do the necessary corrections.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam the Moderator. And Mr. Yakum Martin, thank you for your brilliant presentation.
Thank you.
Yes, I followed the presentation from start to end. It was really good. It's a good presentation. So I am also happy to hear that the work has been published, which is good because that is always the basic. Or when you are at the PhD level, when you come out with new findings, it's always good to also make public so that people can know what is happening, and if there are some limitations, they can also get into to continue from where maybe you stopped. So once again, congratulations for your publication and for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you a lot.
Yes, so I just have some small maybe comments or other things to add on. I'll start with your slides.
Okay.
I discovered that on your slides, you do not label your slides. Yes, number one, number two, I did not see the labeling. And
Is there,
then,
sorry? Is there?
oh,
Maybe if I share again, you see. Okay, sorry, maybe, I don't know, maybe the one I shared with the admission didn't have, but I corrected before my presentation.
okay. And then the second thing on the slide, I also noticed that like you write, if you have like 5 introduction, when you put introduction 1, you put /5, but
Ah,
you were just putting introduction 1.
ah.
So it's good so that when we see it, it's good to you you saw you do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I got you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you very much. I
okay,
got you very well.
okay, fine. And another thing I noticed with the slides is like you complain the table. There were a lot of important communication that you wanted to pass, important things that you really had on the table, but I could not see it. So I was so keen in listening to what you were saying. But it's always good to magnify the slide, especially
Okay, I got you. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not getting you anymore, please.
the things
Get back to
on your
us.
slides
Okay.
that I said I should. Yes, hello.
Okay, I got you now. I'm getting you now, sir.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay,
sorry,
fine.
Now, we
I
did not
lost you.
hear your last sentence, please. Hello?
Yeah, my network is not stable from what I just
Okay.
noticed that the network is not stable. But is it okay?
Last
Yes, but the last thing
sentence.
you said, I didn't get. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, I was talking about I saw 2 references that you put on the introduction. The first one was MOH.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does it mean? I don't know. And then the DH, you said the DH was demographic health survey.
Yes.
Yes.
MOH is about the Ministry of Health.
Okay, the Ministry of Health.
Maybe I need to write
Okay.
that clear. Sorry.
Yeah, so that we'll get it. We get it. Or you put it on the reference,
Okay.
on the abbreviation. That's why you
Oh,
put this then on the abbreviation list so that we get it very well. So I
okay.
was like, that DHS is which person? So that's
Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, so I had a problem with that.
Okay.
Okay, coming now to the work itself. You said that vaccine hesitancy is the refusal or the delay
Yeah.
in receiving vaccine despite the availability.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what could be the reason for the refusal? Because we know we have 2 settings. We have the developed world that they might have their reason for the delay and for the refusal. In Cameroon, that you did your research, what could be the reason for the refusal and the delay? I wanted you to really come to really explain to us when you talk about refusal, what does it mean? That maybe you meet people and then you tell them about vaccine, they refuse, or what happened, or the delay is the delay from those bringing their children to the hospital, they don't respect dates that are given, or the delay is coming from the government that there's no money to buy or to import. Or so I really wanted you to explain about the refusal and the delay in the context of Cameroon, because
Okay.
when you want to talk about vaccine hesitancy, you talk from it at large, that is from the war, Africa, and then Cameroon.
Yeah.
So now, yes, I want you to just tell us, you did the research in Cameroon, what can be the cause of vaccine hesitancy in Cameroon in the case of refusal and in the case of delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before I answer the question, I will clearly say that hesitancy is characteristic linked to the beneficiary and not to the government, not to the health system,
Okay.
because we define it as refusal or delay despite its availability, which means this health system needs to first of all make the vaccine available, then you don't take.
Okay.
It is available and to you, but you refuse not take, or you delay taking. So that's to start from there. So now, many reasons can advance for hesitancy. I must say that this is a topic that is already studied in the whole world extensively. Only in Cameroon this is coming maybe a bit new. In the world, the people, many reasons can explain why a hesitancy can occur, particularly in Yaoundé. In the last slide of the result, I tried to bring out why people were hesitant. And this result was, in fact, this data was obtained from the people. When we notice somebody who either delay or who refuse, we ask why. Why didn't you want to take? Why don't you want to take? And they give us their reasons. Some of them said they heard about a lot of negative things about the vaccine in the media. Some of them said they do not think that vaccine is needed for their children because they feel that they grow up, they didn't receive vaccine in their life, and they don't think they don't die, and they don't believe that their children is going to have any problem if they don't take the vaccine. Another one group of people refuse taking vaccine, generally delay taking vaccine because of their occupations. Maybe you have a lot of work to do. You wake up in the morning, you have to rush to the market to do some business to feed the family, and then you give priority to that than going to vaccinate the child. I'm not saying that giving the priority to that is a problem, honestly, because if you ask me, I will tell you that the family need food before vaccine. That one I'll tell you. But at least this is just the reasons they advance. So hesitancy reasons sometimes are grouped into separate subheadings, which we call the 3C or the 5C model. The 3C model talk about trust. When you don't trust the vaccine or the health system, because the problem of trust is linked to the vaccine and the health system. You don't trust the government, you don't trust the health system, or you don't trust the vaccine, you don't take the vaccine. One of the reasons why people don't take is because of trust. They believe that they are injecting people vaccine for them not to ever have a child in their life again. So they don't want to take. Second, the next C, that is, so that trust is about confidence. So we call it C because it's confidence. We call it first C, confidence. Next C is about complacent. Complacency is more about you refuse to take because you are not at risk of the disease. Maybe if I take, for example, somebody in Cameroon can say, I don't want to take vaccine against diphtheria because we have not had any case of diphtheria in the last 2 decades. So I don't think I'm at risk of taking it. That is more about complacency. But I understand that if I'm at risk, I need to take. So some people can refuse based on this. Then there's another group of people who will refuse because of their conveniency. They don't want to go to the hospital and delay. Because when you come to the hospital or the health center, they keep you waiting for a long time, and then they don't want to do this. They prefer to use this time for another thing, either to be working something or to be resting or anything. This
Hello. I think Mr. Martin has a network challenge, so we'll just give him some time to come back. Please turn off your mic, Mr. Abdullahi. Turn off your mic. Please turn off your mic. Okay. You can turn on your mic and go ahead, please, Martin. Hello, are you there?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about the network problem.
All right, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Okay, I was talking about the various causes of vaccine hesitancy. I can remember that I concluded, I finished with the problem that is linked to, I talk about the confidence, I talk about the complacency. Then I think I was talking about the problem that is linked with where was I? I'm a bit confused. Where was I think I was talking about convenience. Good.
Convenient, yes, you were talking
Yeah.
about convenient.
Yeah. So people, they don't want to go because they have other preoccupations. Yeah, sorry, it's still shaking. It's still really shaking. So I was talking about rational calculation and collective collective decision making. Collective decision making is in the sense that it is some sort of a cultural problem that the population in as a group, they don't want to take vaccines for some cultural reasons. Then about rational calculation is somebody, you and me, who are already well educated, that you can go and actually get more information about vaccines, and then based on what you see and what you read through, you take your time, you get the information from the right sources, but based on everything that is available that are okay, you make a conclusions that you shouldn't take the vaccine. Those are the major those are the major 5 groups for reasons for not taking vaccine, for vaccine hesitancy. But these are still broken down into different things. As I was saying, is somebody who is already injected with vaccine, and maybe the child is injected with vaccine, and maybe the child spent the whole night crying, and the mother doesn't want to go back again. And it may be a child that was injected with vaccine and there was adverse event following immunization, and the mother fear for the life of the child and does not want to come back again in the same scenario. Then I talk about this media information, misinformation that is coming from everywhere about vaccine. Yeah, that is it. I think generally that is why people don't take the vaccine, honestly.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yanku. At least you clarified me that vaccine hesitance is talking about it's not a particular, it's not a government, it's not a health institution. So because I was thinking about that there are some countries that maybe they have the COVID vaccine by the government, but it's okay. I am clarified. Thank you very much. So under methodology, that's materials and methods. I would have loved that you use a flow chart so that you describe to us. With a flow chart, you just explain, put some diagrams on how you went about your data, how you collected your data, how you met other people. So what I want to ask about on this data collection is, how were your data collected? Because you made mention of that you use the WHO fabricated data analysis and you just adapted. So I want to get how you adapted it, and what is it, because you know WHO. So I want to, because I'm bringing a setting in Cameroon.
I can hear your voice, but it's okay. Good.
Is it okay now?
Mr. Martin, is it okay? Can you hear? Hello?
It's like where he is, his network is really...
Yeah, I think the network is really bad.
Yes.
Please, you can go ahead. I can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. So I was talking about that data collection. You start by maybe you come out with a flow chart so that we really understand what you did in the field. Like you're talking about data collection. How did you collect your data? Because you were talking about that you use the WHO method and then you just adapt it. So I was asking that how did you use it? That so I want you to explain to us how you use the WHO and adapt it. Because otherwise I was looking at it from this angle that you go to the field, you see what is from your literature, you see what is available, and then you come out with. It's like we missed him again. Madam the moderator, since his network is not really good, I think I will channel some of the questions I have.
Okay.
Yes, maybe I'll send some of the questions I have to you for him so that he can better ameliorate and conclude because I see his network is on and off. And I'm also
Yeah, really bad.
somebody is I'm seeing a raised hand that somebody had a question.
No, that student has already presented, and her image has been showing like that for reasons I don't know.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So that's it. I don't know if we'll give him some time or so over to you, Madam Moderator.
All right, we'll just wait for a few minutes. If we don't get him back, then because it's actually the last student for today.
Okay, okay.
All right. Thank you. Chris, please turn off your mic. Christoph, please turn off your mic.
Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon, everybody.
Turn off your mic.
What's the mic, madam? Please.
Hello.
Yes, madam. Please, what's the mic?
The you see it, something like a mic logo. Yes. It's off now. It's okay. Okay, greetings everyone. Due to the fact that the presenter is off due to network issue, it will have to end the presentation for today. Thank you for your participation. Thank you, Claire, for your participation. Thank you, Dr. Aka. Thank you, Prof. Atanga. To all the students, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yengo. See you all next week. If you have a presentation for next week, kindly get to me so I can prepare you. Um, that notwithstanding, have a blessed day and see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. And I'm Joy. My house. Someone else, I don't know.